Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We say that with a hint of a smile on our faces this week, as compared to the last one, which was a bit of a doomsday session, I believe. Well, we cheered ourselves up, I guess, but we most certainly got a bit more of a cheering up this weekend as Liverpool smashed 9 past Bournemouth. Just to remind us all that we're not bad. We're not bad at football. People, you're all very welcome, very, very welcome to another episode of Redfellas on a Sunday night. Um, we welcome you I'm from Luton right now, and welcome you all wherever you may be, wherever time it is. Let us know. We always like to know where you're watching it from and what time it is there. We love to see the dedication. But yeah, I've got an echo. One of you's got an echo. I can hear myself. Let me see who it is. It was Conroy. Yeah, Conroy likes the sound of himself. Trying to listen to back on the replay. But it is what it is. Guys, there's nearly 200 of you in here waiting patiently for us to speak upon the mighty Reds. And I know what it's like. I know it's like when you smash 9 goals in the Premier League. It's not every day. It's not every day. Every club or any club scores 9 in a Barclays Premier League game, but we done it. So it's good to talk. It's a good time to talk. Of course, I need some red fellas to talk with. I have Steve Plunkett in the building. How are we?
I'm in a much better place following the weekend's events. What crisis, eh? Yeah, so I'm looking forward to talking to the boys and yourself about this and getting the chat involved. Onwards and upwards.
Amazing. Of course. Hoping Conroy's got his thing fixed. Is it okay now, Conroy? No, it's fine.
Don't know what that was. Yeah, apologies. Not even sure. The earphones might not have been in properly. Yeah, so all good. Apologies, guys.
Good. No problem. How are you feeling? We were just going around asking how we're doing. I know me and you were particularly down. We done a bit of the post match, didn't we, last week? So we were pretty down. But if Conroy's smiling, then it's usually a very, very good sign.
Yeah, no, listen, it's. I think we wanted to come back and that. To be fair, in foreshadowing Klopp's comments during the week, he did say that he feels sorry for the next team who we play against. But you know what it's like. Sometimes you take that with a pinch of salt. Just they have to go out and perform. But genuinely, if you're going to get back to winning ways, winning 9-0, or even winning anything above 3-0 or even 2-0, to be honest, is emphatic. But 9-0 is just, as you say, in the record books now. So it was the right way to get the fans back on side, I thought. So it was a good result.
Exactly. People letting us know where they're calling in from. Amazing. Or watching in from or listening in from. Amazing. We've had Malaysia, Jamaica, Sweden, Canada, USA, Malaysia. Amazing. Brilliant stuff, guys. Evan, how you doing, man? You okay? What time was this? This was a very awkward kickoff for you. 3 p.m. UK time. So we're talking 7 a.m.
Yep, 7 a.m. 7 a.m. bright and early. The right way to start your weekend. Liverpool finally making my weekends doable. And 7 a.m. on a Saturday is usually pretty standard. I got it kind of rough at the start of the season. Had the 4 a.m. kickoff, and then 2 Monday kickoffs, which I don't think anybody likes, no matter where in the world that you are.
Yeah, exactly. We heard your voice note. You woke us up in the WhatsApp group. You was looking forward to this one. You was up nice and early. So yeah, at least it wasn't sort of a miserable going back to sleep either through depression or you probably, if you did go back to sleep, you probably went back to sleep with a smile on your face. Steve, we always start off with the lineups. Did the lineup bring a smile to your face? That's what I want to know. Because the lineup comes out. We anticipated some changes. Let me bring it up here. That's not it. Give me 1 second. What have I done here, lads? The shared screen is there. There we go. Lineup comes out, Steve, and I thought it was expected. I thought it was anticipated. I was intrigued to see the Henderson on the left. I think that was the question on everyone's lips. I think you raised it. You wanted to see if Henderson can play on that left 8. The rest pretty much picked itself. Clamour for Fabio Carvalho to start. That was the only other sticking point. I think quite a bit of a clamour to start Fabio Carvalho. But was you okay?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Most of this team picks itself. The back four picks itself because of the injuries to the people that we know have got injuries. Could you play Carvalho and Elliott together? Would you play Carvalho instead of Elliott? The permutations in midfield were quite interesting. Would Fabinho get his sort of sixth role back? And obviously the question you just asked, can Henderson play on the left side of a central midfield? That question still needs to be answered because I don't think we got the answer in the game at the weekend, given the opposition. But we'll go into that, I'm sure. But I think then again, the front three, absolutely. There's nobody else to pick at the minute, is there? It'll be interesting when Jota and Nunes are fit, how that might have worked out, but they're not. So the front three is the front three. Again, we talk about this week in, week out, Grizz, irrespective of what shows we're on. Our midfield is the puzzle that we're all trying to solve, and it's very difficult to do it. He keeps us all guessing, and then he does something we don't expect him to do. So, in that regard, the team was kind of as you expected it to be, safe to a degree, with the creative influence of Harvey Elliott.
No, absolutely. Conroy, again, I know you're very much of the thought pattern about sort of the team is what it is, regardless of what 11 we pick. We usually should 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, we should beat most Premier League teams.
Yeah, and as I say, the lineup, I thought, as I say, I said it's a good result. We're not going over the top. It is Bournemouth. We've got more than enough in that team to get the result.
Did you call them Bournemouth? Did you call them Bournemouth?
No, Bournemouth.
You called it. No,
Bournemouth.
Steve, he did, didn't he, Steve? You called them Bournemouth.
That's a slip of the tongue. I usually say Bournemouth, especially being Scottish as well. The way we pronounce it, that's usually the way you would say it. But yeah, so for me, I was, even though I thought it was maybe going to be tighter than it inevitably was, I thought we'd got the result even though we've been in bad form. And with the lineup, I'd probably say, yeah, mostly expected. The only one I would maybe add is I thought Tsimikas would have started. So that I was slightly surprised. Surprised is probably the wrong word, and the comments will be kicking off because it's quite a divisive issue on Twitter. But I think Klopp does obviously go with Robbo a lot, but I thought Tsimikas would have started this game. So that was the only one I was surprised with when I saw the lineup announced.
Yeah, Evan, he's right, actually. I totally forgot. When I spoke about sort of anticipated changes from the public, space, it was Tsimikas, a lot of demand for Tsimikas in, a lot of demand for Fabio Carvalho in. Carvalho, what, am I saying it right? Fuck's sake. Here we go again. Is it Carvalho? Fabio Carvalho. Am I saying it right, Evan? I'm waiting for you to correct me.
I mean,
please.
It was such a subject of debate last time, so I'm done being the police in that regard. Everyone,
Okay.
this is
Okay.
this is a free channel. Everyone can express themselves how they want to.
Okay, Fabio, can you guys please correct me, because this is embarrassing now if I can't still say Fabio Carvalho, because I know.
Did we not
Evan
establish it was Carvalho because the H means EO last time? Was that?
Yeah.
I think it is Carvalho.
Yeah.
It's Carvalho.
Okay, so I was right, Carvalho. Okay.
Yeah, it's just you just gotta let it roll. It feels forced when you say it. You gotta let
Carvalho.
it just roll.
Okay, Carvalho. Yeah, so
there
Carvalho.
There you go. You say it quicker, Grizz. Say it quicker.
Carvalho. So the clamour was for Tsimikas and Carvalho to be brought into the team, and obviously, if that was the case, the question to whose place they would have taken would have been obviously Robbo, and then the other question was Milner or Firmino, not Firmino. But we stuck with Firmino. We didn't bring in Fabio Carvalho or Robertson. Did you agree with the decisions at the time?
I wasn't in any rush to bring Kostas Tsimikas in. He knows more than anybody else that there's a ton of football to be played. He will get his minutes. I want to see Robertson and Diaz together as much as possible. I think much of whether or not we win things this season depends pretty heavily on them establishing a relationship close to what we saw between Robbo and Mane over the years. So the quicker we can get that up and running, the better. People forget, Diaz has only been here 8 months. So, and in terms of Fabio, I'm always clamoring for more minutes for the kid. You know, I think he's got the world at his feet. You know, I think his ceiling is just as high as Harvey's. Where he plays, though, is a bit ambiguous. I don't think we know what his best position is yet. I think we just sort of look to how we thought of Coutinho, you know, left-sided central mid, you know, the inverted left wing creative force, you know. It's tough to see where he would go in. I saw some people saying he could be a long-term successor to the false nine role. But I wasn't necessarily clamoring for any big adjustments because for right now, I think the team that we put out is our best team, just given who's available. You know, when you take suspensions and injuries, when you factor in those things. So, to be honest, Chris, I wasn't desperate to see either Costas or Fabio or James Milner.
For that matter. Guys, nearly close to 350 of you in here. If you would all like to hit a smash, if you'd all like to hit a smash burger, that would be nice. That's if you guys know what a smash burger is. Yeah, how I just turned it at the end. But if you'd like to hit a like button, that would be amazing and wonderful. Even if you don't like it, I can just do it now. Do you know what I mean? I've made a mess up of it. Steve, to a man we've all discussed, and to every fan, and even the coach alluded to it, and every question in the media, in the press conference, everything was about how we go about not conceding the first goal. My God, can we have a fast blitz start? Like the good old heavy metal days when we used to play Arsenal at home, it always seemed like when we'd score four goals in 20 minutes. Yeah. Well, lo and behold, 3rd minute, we score a goal. We not only score a goal, we score a header. Not only we score a header, we get a header from Luis Diaz. We've seen his step overs, we've seen his drag backs, we've seen his thunderous shot strike bars. We haven't yet seen his heading ability. The guy he replaced, Sadio Mane, was a fantastic header of a ball. I really loved this goal for all those reasons that I've just spoken of.
Yeah, he's been a bright spark, hasn't he, in some difficult performances of late. So not a surprise to see him continue that. I think what was interesting for me was we played Trent in a really inverted high up the field position right from the word go almost. So a lot of the play was built down the right-hand side, so it allowed everybody to sort of be dragged over to try and deal with that, which means he can come across and take up a slightly more central position. And a great header. Gives the goalkeeper absolutely no chance. Really pleased for him. We kind of forgotten about him, haven't we? Because we brought Núñez in. All the focus shifted to Núñez. And he was having his first pre-season at the club. And as I said before, in the first 3 games, he's one of the few players that could come out of those games with too much criticism for the intensity and for the performances. It's a great header, and like you say, gives you Sadio Mane vibes, coming in off the left and beating the keeper with a powerful header into the top corner. So really, really pleased for him, and really pleased, as you said, could we do the fast start? Were the 4 of us going to be waiting for half time for Klopp to get hold of the team, to have a chat with them and change something and inspire something, bring out some intensity? Once that first goal goes in, all we've got to do then is continue in the vein that we started the game. So a really pleasing start, and a tremendous header from, as you quite rightly said, the man that's been brought in to replace Sadio Mane. And just for a minute there, it could have been Sadio Mane scoring that, couldn't it?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I was thinking. You know, how important is it, Evan, we speak about first goals, and some of the players that we're missing that usually scored the first goal for us. Sadio Mane, we've mentioned. Diogo Jota, how many times did he used to score the first goal for us? It's so crucial when, you know, the likes of Mohamed Salah is double, triple marked that other step up, and boy, did the other step up. Luis Diaz was just a menace, and it was interesting. I don't know if Conroy's got the heat map up, or one of you guys have got the heat map. It was interesting to see, and I haven't even researched this or done this, but I don't know if we can have a look here. It's not there, Conroy, or whoever's done that.
I got it ready.
Yeah, if you could get it up.
That's it now, guys. 2 secs. You see
no, I think Evan's got it.
Okay, I've literally. Yeah, okay.
But either way, I just thought while Steve was talking about it, I was just wondering and thinking in my head that do we think that Luis Diaz's position on the pitch, his average position, or where he done the most of his work, if there was a tactical change in where he was, because I just from the naked eye, without looking into what we're about to see, and I don't know what we're about to see, we can discuss it. I thought he was far more inverted as opposed to hugging the touchline against Man United. He seemed to be hugging the touchline a lot. I don't know. Can we get it up? Shall I share it?
Yeah, I have it. I have it ready whenever you want to add it to this stream, Chris.
So this was his heat map.
So this is the heat map. It's not the color scheme I prefer, because it's very like a light shade of blue. But if y'all want to turn your brightness up on your screen, so you can see primarily there he is, where you would expect an inverted left winger to begin when he's attacking the goal. As you can see, he drops back quite frequently. You know what I mean? He's here helping with build-up. He's checking in for the center back or the fullback when they need a short pass. And then we even have some pockets over here, Grizz. A pocket kind of in right central midfield in like Harvey Elliott territory. We have a pocket out here where you would find Mohamed Salah. And then over here in the penalty area, you can see he moves in quite frequently, about 10 yards in. And then there's a ever so slight blue pocket right here, which I'd imagine is from both of his headers that resulted in goals. So it was the onus was on Sadio Mane to be athletic in the box in central areas, and even as a left winger, not just as a number 9, which he was for us towards the end of last season, but even if in his predominantly left wing days, Sadio Mane, as I'm sure we all remember, was tasked with cutting inside, getting in and around the penalty circle in the 6-yard box, and nodding home some of the quality deliveries.
Conrad, that was very much Sadio Mane's role, tactics, instructions, whatever, just to not only, like as Evan initially pointed out, the initial work was done where the majority of the darkest patches, or whatever you call that patch. That patch is. But the fluidity of the rest of the patches suggest he had far more license to, I want to say roam, but feel and sense wherever you go to, wherever you felt or sensed the danger. And where is the danger as a forward and an attacker? Inside the effing box. And I thought it was myself, like far more fluid than that. Did you notice that as well at the time? In his overall performance, I know we'll go through the stuff, but just his overall performance, I definitely felt that.
You know, absolutely, Grizz. I think two things on this. Just a quick point as well. When we signed Diaz, I think he was the second top scorer with his head in Portugal. I think that there is a stat like that. I think he did actually score more headers than you think. So he actually should be showing this anyway. So it was nice to see he scored 2 headers. That was very impressive. But he has got that in his locker. He's just not shown it for us yet. And obviously, when being at Porto, you're going to score headers. You have got a habit of getting in the box. So he's obviously got that ability, and it's great that he managed to portray that. Is that the right word? Show that at the weekend. Secondly, I think with regard to, you mentioned obviously being more inverted, but just in general, just bombing about the left side at different areas, not being as predictable. Predictable is maybe the wrong word, but for me, I find that him and Robertson, as Evan alluded to, not having that type of relationship yet, at times against United, they both find the ball in the same position, which really, you know what, maybe once a match that can happen, but it really shouldn't happen that often, because you should know where to be. Unless it's in a transition, both you come into the same area, just waste the other space on that side. And I feel like that was a big improvement as well. It's no coincidence that Robertson played better as well with his overlapping and his movement, allowed Diaz to take up spaces, which I thought was really good. And additionally as well, I feel like he's got a lot to his game. He can do different things, and I think he showed that really well. But the one thing that does annoy me is just taking the ball deep. I call it, because Neymar is the prime example of this. He takes the ball deep because he can beat 5 men. But in the world of football, that you don't always score from that, especially in the Premier League. So as much as I have confidence in Diaz when he gets the ball there, sometimes it can slow attacks down. So for me, him allowing oppositions to not be sure, making himself even more unpredictable by moving in the centre like Mane did, I think that's really good for us going forward as well. And it'll allow people who are analysing his game, Newcastle during the week, will not be sure where he's going with his movement. And I think that's very useful in the future, considering I was calling us predictable AFC last week. So that's very good.
Let's get Let's get Steve back in the building. While we discuss the, let's get Steve back in the building. Steve's back. Welcome back, sir. I think we were just speaking about Diaz, his position, and his general willingness or instruction to be in and around the danger areas more, Steve. Did you notice that as well? Because it was vital that we had more presence, more people in and around the box where most goals are scored. I felt as though I know we discussed the role of Bobby against Man United,
Mm-hmm.
but the others were of equal blame not to assist Bobby into. No, when I mean assist, I don't mean in sort of in scoring goals, but assist in team play, assist of looking dangerous, threatening.
Mm.
I think we noticed Diaz far more fluid, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, and I think everybody in and around the football club, fans, ex-pros, ex-players, all those guys have said we've been missing the Marnie influence. I think it's very much an instruction to be in those positions. One thing he had done, sort of back end of the season, he stayed out wide, and he doesn't influence the game, particularly in the Champions League final. He started very wide, and Carvalho managed to or Carvajal, sorry, managed to negate that threat. So by bringing him in field, giving him the Sadio role, giving him the opportunity to get more central, he's going to score a lot more goals. I think all of us have said at some point, once he gets one, the goals will come because he's been unlucky. Hit a few posts, had a few clearances, a few deflections late on in the shot. 2 goals will do him the world of good, and I think it's a definite tactical ploy, and it'll work better against some opposition than it will others. But I think it was definite tactical ploy at the weekend, and we reaped the rewards of that, didn't we?
We absolutely did. We were praying for an early goal. We were praying for everyone to be involved. The start was just so much quicker and vibrant, wasn't it, Evan? We could just tell from the kickoff. And we can. Okay, I'll speak for myself, and you guys give me. When Bobby gets a lot of touches in the opening 10 minutes, I love it. I love it because I think he's ahead of the rest already in terms of the other players, in terms of the other DMs on the other side, the centre backs. They're confused already about Bobby's whereabouts. They're unaware of him. I guess the best segue to bring in the Bobby's heat map, and the best man to discuss this is you.
Yeah. I mean,
Look at this.
somebody should put this heat map on Bobby Firmino's grave when the great man leaves this earth, because this is some phenomenal stuff. Guys, if we can all imagine like what a 4-3-3 formation looks like, obviously what I love about this is that there's 3 distinctive pockets in midfield where you can see he's popping up into every midfield position. And then there's some 3 less spread out dots where he's popping up at left wing, center forward, and at right wing. So he literally is quite everywhere. I mean, I can see him at left center back there for a second. I can see him at right back, at left back. If you're going to allow Liverpool to have 80% of the ball at home, you also cannot let Firmino touch the ball in every Liverpool attack. You cannot have both. You either let Liverpool have the ball and never let Firmino touch it, or you let Firmino touch it, but you also try to play football. So, and Bournemouth let Firmino have the ball whenever he wanted to, and they let Liverpool have 80% of the ball. So this is why Firmino is so great. And I think we can all safely say that probably Firmino's most electric days are probably behind him at this point. That's fine. He's been used, like a bar of soap by Klopp just until there's barely anything left, but he still looks very fit. I don't want to downplay that, but I think keeping Firmino just around is great because there is no other profile in world football like Roberto Firmino. We've said it many times on this channel. We've said it many times on Twitter. I remember we were talking about it this summer, Grizz, when we signed Nunez, or we were getting heavily linked. We said there is no false 9 successor. There is evolution. That is it. We just get a different type of front man to do something different, because trying to find Firmino on the market, it's become a bit of a meme for Klopp, but that actually is a dynamic that you cannot find on the market. Like realistically, like it just doesn't exist. So this is why it's so cool to have Firmino around. Admittedly, not every team is going to be like Bournemouth and allow us 80% of the ball and allow him to just run the show. but this is why he's so valuable, because he can do a little bit of everything. And first goal at Anfield since 2020. I remember the goal. It was behind closed doors in that back and forth game against Chelsea. And that goal was his first goal at Anfield all season. So, when it rains, it pours for Bobby, but in the best possible way. That's 5 goal contributions yesterday.
Conroy, it does. Also, I've just noticed 47 touches for Bobby Firmino. Whether we call it a false nine, whether we call it an attacker, whether we call him a striker, whatever we call him, 47 touches. Now, let's compare that. We discussed Haaland had 8 touches a couple of weeks back, and other forwards and strikers we've known to have like sort of 13 touches throughout a game, or 15. Like 47 is an insane amount. But I will also level that up with saying there's no point having all these touches if you don't have any willing runners or workers alongside you. And the goal scorer, and our second goal scorer, the scorer of the second goal, a young man, Harvey Elliott. Now, first, I want to get everyone's opinion on this, because there's a big debate in one of the WhatsApp groups I'm with. That wasn't meant. I mean, I know we've just marveled at Bobby Firmino's performance, but that layoff wasn't meant, was that? That was an accidental layoff, or do you guys?
Of course, it was an accident. Of course, it was an accident.
I think it's an accidental layoff, but it's a good touch, because if Elliott's not there, then Firmino's going to get on that ball, because he sold Cook with that first touch. So
it's like Salah against Burnley when he said,
yeah.
No way he means that assist, But
I'm not saying that Firmino's going to rifle it in like Elliott did, but Firmino took a good first touch for himself. It just ended up making more sense for Harvey Elliott, which makes me think that's fair to count it as an assist.
No, of course.
Okay, fair enough.
It doesn't really matter, because it gets counted as assist anyway.
Yeah. We can talk about it all we want. It's going down as an assist.
Yeah, Jota got assist for getting megged for Diaz against Cardiff and got assist. It really doesn't matter, to be honest.
They just hand them out. They just hand them out. Yeah.
What was beautiful about it was you could have easily replaced that finish. You could have easily replaced, Mohamed Salah in Harvey Elliott's body and said that that was Mohamed Salah finish. A confident Mohamed Salah used to do that, or he still does it. Sometimes hits the post or keeper makes a save recently. Harvey Elliott, I could tell that he's been practicing shooting drills. This is what you get when you practice, because that was the perfect finish. Practice does make perfect in the end. A crisp finish, a lovely second goal to follow up the early goal, which gives the whole team and the fan base time to relax. Harvey Elliott, Conroy.
Yeah, no, just superb. I mean, it was you could see that his confidence is obviously we've been bad form, but everyone has been saying the best of the bad bunch has been Harvey. And I wanted to add as well, to hit that first time, I don't think there's actually that's different in itself, because you have to be confident to hit the first time, especially a young player. It might set up perfectly, but it's easier to take a touch, and try and work something out, work a through ball out. I think it shows his confidence as well, that we all know is there, but it was an excellent strike. When I watched it, I actually thought, I had to follow the game on my phone, I had to rewatch it. I actually thought it was such a, as you say, a perfect finish, like right in the corner, keeper no chance, excellent finish. And with him, he's obviously playing with excellent attacking players in training week in, week out, and that's obviously going to continue to improve your game. So for me, excellent. And that goal was important as well. The reason you might be thinking, it's Bournemouth, but the way we've been playing right now, it's like, you know what, if it's just one, we feel a wee bit nervous, and you might say, well, 1-9-0, that's not going to happen. But for me, I think it was important to get that second, because then it just put completely everyone at ease. We're all playing with confidence, and then we can just kick on, which is what happens. But on Harvey, I just think, we said it last season when we played 4 games, and I did say we need to calm down a bit, because he is just a young player, not in the sense of how good he can be, but just to expect him to play every game. And I still think that's the case. But he's just really highlighting to everyone else the potential we know he has. So, excellent from Harvey.
Pete says, don't want to put pressure on him. This is exactly what we were just talking about. Yeah. But Elliott is the closest.
This is the problem, Pete. This is the problem.
He's the closest thing we have to Bernardo Silva in our squad, Steve. Just like Conroy says, first 4 games of last season before he got that horrific injury, we were waxing lyrical. Fast forward a whole year later, and the first 4 games, and for me, there's no doubt in my head that he's been the outstanding performer for me in the first 4 games again.
It's like the Elliott experience 2.0, isn't it? It's kind of let's do it again. He is a standout in the squad at the moment, or he has been in the first 4 games of the season. There's been conversations in here and in other streams about, is he ready? Oh, of course he's ready. We can see he's ready. The goal's a lovely strike, takes it first time, gives a shout to Bobby, who sort of backs up and whacks it in the corner. The Bernardo Silva's an interesting shout because he's a link player. When he gets the ball, the first thing he does is turn. And the thing I like about him is generally looks forward. And that's something that Bernardo Silva does, looks forward. We've got enough players in the team that are ball recyclers and work it left to right to try to engineer an opening by a lack of concentration from the opposition by recycling the ball and keeping it. This guy's doing something different. He's looking to fizz the ball into feet in and around the edge of the box and going past people and taking up some really, really good positions. And his understanding with Salah and Trent is growing game by game. So for me, he might be 19, but if you're good enough, you're old enough. We do have the option with the squad to bring him out for games. You saw at half time he was taken off. Suggestions he felt something. Also, other suggestions it was an emotional thing because the goal had brought home what had happened in his personal life that week. So this boy's going to play a lot of games for us this season, and he's a really exciting talent to watch. And I've been very pro Harvey Elliott. And I know it was only 4 games last season, but they were 4 good games, and it was very telling who he was selected over in a home game against Chelsea. So the boss clearly has a lot of trust in him, a lot of time for what he gives to the team, and it's just a brilliant, brilliant footballer. And his awareness of people around him is for his age is ridiculous. So I think we're going to have many more conversations about Harvey throughout the remainder of the season, who's clearly the guy on the front foot who wants to link the midfield to the attack.
I think, Paul, you not only have made the most unpopular comment in here today, you've possibly become the most unpopular person in here today. Good luck, sir, with the rest of your evening in the chat. Well, sometimes
someone's going to get ruined for that, aren't they? They're going to get
well, if you didn't think Harvey Elliott had a great game after that and the way he played, good luck to you. Have we got a heat map of Harvey Elliott, and could you give us some insight into sort of the role he's playing, the positions he's picking up? Because I think his game intelligence, my God, guys, it's astounding me. He's becoming bright, and his understanding with Mohamed Salah and Trent is really getting me excited. I'm that kind of guy that I look for little glimpses of cohesion and relationship that we can grow for the future, not just that particular game. I enjoyed it. Evan's probably waiting for me. There you go.
So I think when we had the comment up just a second ago saying, we could see Elliott being sort of like a Bernardo Silva-like player. I think now that it's pretty firm that Klopp sees him as a midfielder primarily is just confirmation that we should shoot for Bernardo Silva being Elliott's ceiling, because, Bernardo Silva is one of the best central midfielders in world football. He has been this way for at least 4 years. So in these pockets that he picks up, there's the most potent one right there. And, we say Harvey Elliott's a midfielder, but that looks an awful lot like Luis Diaz's heat map, just on the other side of the pitch. So essentially what we need, what Harvey Elliott's role is, it's different than Henderson's right central midfield role, but he needs essentially to carry some of these right winger duties alongside Mohamed Salah. He needs to carry some of the creative burden so that it's not just all on Trent to just whip crosses in aimlessly for 90 minutes. Not that that's the worst tactic in the world. It works pretty well. But what he needs to do as well is pick up some of these central areas. As you could see, he moves into the middle quite frequently. He could pop up where you would expect Henderson or Firmino to be. You can see some pockets here at right back. So when Trent overlaps him, he drops into cover. That's great. I don't think we associate defensive prowess with Harvey Elliott, but he still has to do it. Everybody has to do their thing. And I think he's a remarkably mature player. Usually when it's when you have these teenage starlets that are trying to come through, the question is not do they have the quality. They're there because they have the technical quality of a much older player. It's really just all the mental side of the game. It's the IQ. Do they know when to drop? Do they know when to overlap? How quickly can they pick up on systematic cues? And in the Klopp system, where everything has to be such a well-oiled machine, this is more important potentially than in any other system in world football. So he's slotting in and he's looking great. And I know that we have Thiago, who usually plays on the left side of central midfield, and he's also doing similar things, maybe more of a conductor, orchestrator role than sort of this all-action 8. But if we can mold Harvey Elliott into that Bernardo Silva role, it'll be something really special, because it'll be a technician who's maybe not known for their physical prowess, but it'll be someone who has the engine and the know-how to be effective defensively. I think barring the first 6 months of Thiago's career at Liverpool, where he was just picking up yellow cards for fun, he is now extremely combative and really good at winning the ball back, and he doesn't really have a standout physical attribute. So I see the Bernardo Silva path as Harvey Elliott's destiny in a way. I'm really happy for this kid.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I am. And of course, it tops it off with that goal and the celebration, the emotional celebration, Conway, which was, I believe, for his grandmother that passed away recently as well. So that was amazing timing for him. But you get, I don't know, we're going to get to the favourite goals at the end, but we get to the third goal, which is Trent Alexander-the-Great's, probably his best impression of Steven Gerrard so far, as far as I can remember.
Yeah, Gerrard is more in the corner, I think, but that's just me.
Do you reckon? Yeah, possibly. But in terms of technique and the follow through and everything, that was Steven Gerrard, if ever I saw a strike.
Yeah, no, it was excellent. It was really good to see, to be honest. I say confidence. I don't mean he's not got the confidence, but he definitely should shoot more. And I think personally get closer more with them, because he does find himself in that pocket quite a lot.
Yeah.
So by him scoring that as well, it allows oppositions to think twice now that we can't give him that much space, therefore making other spaces for him to put someone in. So it adds another string to his bow. But excellent strike. I think he loses the ball, then wins it back. There's a 1-2 with Bobby, who, by the way, just on a side note, I was actually thinking about Evan yesterday, thinking this is like a dream for Evan. Bobby's his favourite Liverpool player, and it was like a throwback yesterday. So I was just a side note for Evan. But he gets it 1-2 with Firmino. It's kind of
this one was meant, right? This one was
of course,
intentional.
Of course. They all count though. Anyway, but he gets it from that side, sizes it up. I don't think he thinks, no, I've got the space here, and does take a touch, and then just hits it on the instep. Great strike, very solid. I'd say moved a little bit. I'd say it moves quite a bit, not like a knuckleball, but just enough with power in that area. The keeper can't even see it. It's past them, and I think the power behind the strike is superb more than anything, as well as the connection. But the power, when you actually watch it again, if you in real time, and I can imagine being at the stadium as well, it's just like a rocket. Outstanding strike by Trent. But I'm not going to be. It's not surprising, because he's got this in his locker, and it was excellent to see. And yeah, do you know what? He really needed that as well. I'll be honest, we needed a good performance, but I think for him to have a "this is me" moment, and I know he put that tweet up, but in all seriousness, I think he probably could have done with that as well, because we spoke about how much we've relied on him in the last couple of games, which I do think is unfair at times, because he is only a 23-year-old. To put him as being your main outlet all the time, you need to mix it up. And I actually thought, you know what, outstanding strike and perfect timing for him. And I think, again, you know how good he is. We know his mentality anyway, but I think that will do him a lot of good as well. I don't know if you guys agree. I think it was good timing for him to score probably the goal of the month for us. Well, I don't know, because there's so many good goals in that game, but you know what I mean.
I know, I'm totally agreeing with you, and I'll get Steve's opinion. Generally, look, young players always need that. We always forget how young they are, especially in Trent's case. Like, we always pick out and highlight, and so much scrutiny over his every pass, the amount of times he gives the ball away. Apparently, he had 83% pass completion, and considering the passes that he tries, that's an amazing pass completion. He won every duel. His recoveries were quite high. Amazing contribution to a game, but obviously no one's glossed over that this week, because we won 9-0. He's got a banger, and life goes on until the next mistake.
But that's, see, when you're at the top of the mountain, Chris, when you're at the top of the mountain, this is what happens. I think you should take, what is the word?
Solace?
solace from that, because if you want to be the best, they're going to try, especially in a UK society, England, they're going to try and drag you down. They've done that for years. Very quick to build you up, but they're even quicker to try and drag you back down. So I think Trent, I know it's easy for me to say, but when you're at the top of the mountain, people are desperate to drag you back down. And I think that's why everyone, we see it every week. If this was Reece James, like against Leeds, if that was Trent, that would have been blown, 10 times that. Probably correct, but this is what it's like. If you want to be the best and you're at the top of the mountain, people are always going to try and drag you down. It's just the way it is. And so I think he should take, as you say, Grizz, solace from that.
Not only sort of Steve, not only Trent, the whole team in general, and of course Bobby Firmino as well was part of that sort of criticism, or group that was criticised and spoken about. Sort of the desire was questioned, the attitude, everything, and obviously as I think Evans told us that was Bobby's first goal since 2020,
since late 2020, yeah.
So Bobby Firmino gets on the goal sheet, and it's always a privilege, and it's just a good feel when you see Bobby celebrating a goal at Anfield. We crave it. We crave it. So he's got 2 assists by now. He's pretty much running the show from that famous false 9 or infamous, whatever you want to call it. Gets on the score sheet, and we're really rolling now to get the 4th goal. I mean, do you have any recollection of the 4th goal, maybe? Many moons ago.
You know what? You probably need to remind me, because there's 9 of them to talk about, isn't there? And I kind of remind me of the 4th goal, someone,
That's
please.
The deflection. It's the deflection. It's when the deflection cross and it lands in the box.
I tell you why I remember it vividly, because just 2 minutes before that, or a couple of minutes before that, Mo produced the most beautiful cross I can't remember, with his outside of his left foot or something, and Bobby's just about a yard behind and just fails to get there. And I'm turning around to my mates and I'm saying, if that's Jota, that's a goal.
Yeah.
And they were like, calm down. I was like, no, I'm telling you, because Jota's got that instinct to get there, that millisecond early, and that was the difference between Bobby and Jota. And they turned around and slapped me, because 2 minutes later, Bobby anticipates, obviously, deflected, and then just kind of does his karate kick type goal that he scores.
Well, everything's good in the world when Bobby's playing well. We've alluded to that, 47 touches, the heat map and what have you. Evan always says this, and he's 100% correct. That is a unique football player in world football. You will never find another one in the modern game, so we should enjoy him for what he is. He rolled back the years a little bit there. It was a great performance in terms of the link play, showing up everywhere to get the ball. He stood there with his arms folded. One of the goals goes in. When he enjoys his football, everyone around him enjoys their football, because when he's on it, and he's electric, and you can't deal with him, and he pulls your defenders and your central midfielders, defensive ones, to places where they don't want to go. And when they go with him, the rest of the team hurt you. And that's really, really important thing when we look at Bobby's career in years to come, is some of the positions he takes up are so mad and so difficult for defenders to track. He creates so much space, so much opportunities for others. And, 5 goal GA for the day is incredible. I think he became only the 2nd player to do that, behind Harry Kane, who did it with 3 goals and 1 assist for 4 GAs.
I wonder if there's anyone in the universe. That triple captain Bobby Firmino.
There was.
Are you serious?
I said that you must be a time traveller. That's what the tweet said, and I agree, because there's no sane person putting Bobby Firmino as a triple captain. I'm sorry, that's you're not going to convince me. He must be a time traveller. Must be.
They didn't know what to do with him, and Scott Parker's reference since that's the most difficult day on a football pitch ever, and he wonders psychologically how they recover from that. And a lot of it is to do with 47 touches in all of those areas, making sure everybody's involved in the game, making sure all of the players is linked and knitted well together. We talk about Harvey Elliott being a linked player. Well, Bobby is too, and his heat map proves that. But going back to Trent, every single reference that's made about defensive work, be it good, bad, or indifferent, is measured against him. So that's fine. Let him carry on doing that. He will be the best right back in terms of assists and goals and stuff ever. He will surpass Dani Alves's record at Barcelona, and that's saying something. So just wanted to have a quick finish on the Trent thing, because I missed that one. But he needed that performance. He's been quite languid for the first 3 games, and he
Yep.
has got a lazy pass in him, where he just kind of leans back and gives the ball away. But he was on fire on Saturday, and I think the further we went into that game, they really started to enjoy themselves, and no one more so than Bobby. And it's a delight when he plays like that. And we'll see it again, I'm sure, this season. But it was rolling back the years, and it was tremendous to watch.
It's also a delight when we see a 6'3" centre back, one of the most elegant centre backs in recent history, come up for a corner, tower a header in, and then do that jump he does and makes him look 9 foot something or 10 foot something in the air. Evan, I missed that. And Virgil van Dijk, again, another player under scrutiny for his said language style in recent times in terms of defending. Not only that, but a good way to shut these guys up is obviously first and foremost keep a clean sheet at all costs, and then just tower one header in the corner, right?
Yeah, and I'm not even sure Virgil had to get off the ground that much, and I don't even think he lost his man. It's just as simple as Virgil is a very big man, and the guy covering him was not. It was a small man. So sometimes football really is that simple. You kick the ball towards the tall guy and hope that there's a short guy marking him, and then sometimes the ball will go in the net. It's a beautifully simple game at times, and Virgil van Dijk is a guy who does make the game look beautifully simple when defending might just be the hardest thing in the game next to putting the ball in the back of the net. But luckily he's able to do both. The criticism levied at players like Van Dijk and Trent in recent weeks, these are just the standards they are held to. It's insanely high. Us and City are the only teams to have ever been held to these standards because we are the only teams to have ever set these standards. So that's the criticism, and luckily these are mentally strong players who can deal with it. And I love a good goal from a corner. Who doesn't? We were so good at it last season, and when we were struggling during our first 3 games of the season, I remember saying every single time we had a corner, I'd be like, "Wow, if there ever was a team that needed a goal from a set piece right now, it was us. If we ever wanted to feel like we wanted to be good at set pieces again, we could use it. We needed it at Old Trafford. We could use one at Craven Cottage. We definitely could have used one at home to Palace. So love to see it. And again, Bournemouth were well beaten at that point, but there are other smaller players in the Premier League playing on other teams that will have to mark Virgil van Dijk. So we can expect that to continue.
It's actually funny because you say that he didn't have to jump, but the actual size of the Bournemouth team, when I saw them at the start, I thought they were very big and very huge. Like the size of them, I thought I'm not sure what the average height was, but I was sure it's quite big. Conroy 4-0 at halftime. My first thoughts were,
5-0.
wow.
5-0.
5-0 at halftime.
Yeah, because that's the 5th goal.
I beg your pardon. I was doing a watch along as well, so that shows you my level of concentration.
No, it's hard to watch. Like when it hits 3 in the first half, Chris, it's quite hard to speculate what the actual score is, to be honest.
So 5-0 at halftime, Conroy, and all I could think about was who is the 5 people that come off. That's all I could think of. Because of the fixtures that we've got coming up, because of the squad state as it is already, and obviously youngsters getting experience. Or was you thinking rhythm? We're a rhythm team. Mo hasn't scored yet. It would be lovely for Bobby to get more. Maybe bring on Carvalho, and that's about it. How was you thinking?
I'm probably on the same side of you, Chris. Maybe not at halftime, but maybe 55 minutes. I mean, you could say 45 as well. It doesn't really make much of a difference. I'm thinking, what the game's won, but then maybe Klopp's thinking the older fans a bit of a show because of the last couple of games, which is really, deflated the start to the season. I don't know if he's maybe considering that, but I'm maybe on your side of things. I'm thinking, right, we've got a game against Newcastle midweek. We really need to kick on with this form. And before that game, it'll still be a hard game, but they had ASM, who looks like he's going to be injured now. Guimaraes looks like he's going to be out. So it looks like, it looks a bit easier now. But going into that, he's probably thinking at halftime, that's a hard game. So I would probably be on your side of things. But just to confirm, how many subs did he make at halftime? Was it just Elliott, or did he make another one? Because I couldn't get it up on my phone to confirm.
Yeah, Elliott was the only halftime sub.
I was thinking he might have took Fabinho off as well, Grizz.
Oh,
I was in that line
yeah.
of thinking as well.
I was asking for that too. If I could just jump in and answer real quick.
course,
I was like, get Fabinho off the fucking pitch. Like,
Can I say
just
something
put
though?
him-
Can I interject again? I
Yeah.
was thinking the opposite of that. Because I was thinking this mother that I've been slaughtering for the first 4
MS.
games is finally walking up. And he's playing like the Fabinho that I know and love. And I want more of this and keep him for rhythm purposes. So it's mad how we think. I was thinking the opposite. Sorry, go back to you.
No, it's a weird game because there's when a player, when you have someone who's like maybe not fit as they could be, it's on the outside, people like us who have no knowledge of medicine or sports science or anything like that. We're constantly torn between get him off the fucking pitch or why doesn't he play more? We need him to be match fit. You know what I mean? So it's really only a question that people with PhDs in kinesiology, I think it's what it's called. Yeah, kinesiology. It's people. Yeah, I think that is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So
very good,
it's
very good.
Right.
Very good.
That tape,
knowledge.
That tape
right,
you
yeah.
see them is called kinesiology tape, and it helps pull the muscles in the right direction. So you're spot on, mate.
Really? Can you WhatsApp me some links so I can get hold of some, Steve, please?
And pronunciations as well. Pronunciations would be really helpful as well. Just send us a voice
Cheers.
note, Evan.
I think you have 2 types of physios in football. You have kinesiologists who make decisions on like playing time. That's what's Mini Klopp called? Our medical dude with glasses. What's his name? We got him from Bayern.
Kornmeyer.
Kornmeyer, I believe, is more of a kinesiologist, and then you have like doctors who would deal with like broken bones on the football pitch and actual medical issues. So it's tough for us to know what to do with Fabinho. He's utilized so much last season. Let's be honest, everybody played way too much football last season. If you stayed fit as a Liverpool player last season, you played too much football because towards the end, Klopp wasn't rotating. There was too many important games coming thick and fast. But I think your point is just as valid, Grizz. We really don't know, but I think we're still on the same page of let's protect Fabinho in some way, shape, or form. My way of protecting Fabinho was to get Baccetic on the pitch because I also just love seeing the kids play. And your way of protecting him was let's get him. Let's get this rhythm. Let's not interrupt this.
Yeah, Stefan's very angry with me tonight. Very angry. How dare you, Grizz, call out Fab? Everyone knows he needs games to peak. That's what I was saying, Stefan.
He is a rhythm player. He is a rhythm player. He struggles a bit when he comes back from injury.
Yeah, so that's why I was calling him out.
Yeah.
And Duffer says, hit the like button, you planks. I like the way he calls out for likes. He calls you planks because you haven't hit a like yet. You must be plank. Grizz's Asda chicken wings ain't cheap. Very good point. I haven't been to Asda for those chicken wings. I need to get down there tomorrow and pick up some amazing Asda chicken wings.
On that, Grizz, just we never talk about this, but I was at the Fringe in Edinburgh yesterday. If you're ever in Edinburgh, I'm looking at you, Evan, maybe. If you're ever in the capital, there's a place called Wings, funnily enough. It's a chicken wing place, but it's very, very good. Probably the best in Edinburgh, maybe the best in Scotland. So if anyone in the chat's ever in Edinburgh, go to Wings. Highly recommend it.
Speaking real quick, just speaking on, UK cuisine, I know how much fish and chips means to the culture over there. Can I register how disappointed I was with the fish and chips when I went to Liverpool? I was so disappointed. I don't know. Maybe I went to the wrong spot.
Fish and chips. This is like
you're supposed to do it very well.
Yeah, that's bad.
I went to the wrong spot.
Need to get on the internet and review that. I need to get a Yelp review in there. That's
definitely where you go. It's all about where you go. If you find a good chippy, that is it.
I think you're spot on. Steve's spot on. Evan, you must have, because look, what I will say about fish and chips, and maybe Steve, who's around my age, will agree, it's not what it used to be. It used to be a very good standard to where most of the places you go to, but now it so varies. It so varies that, you have to struggle. And also another thing, Evan, because of the variety of food now, because of the international flavor and sort of so many people from so many different nations, opening up businesses and all brilliant stuff. But a lot of fish and chips places have gone out of business, and this sort of trend towards grilled food and sort of healthy living has taken the old greasy, because you're talking about greasy fish and chips,
Yeah,
man.
I'm talking about deep fried fish and
Yeah,
chips.
man.
Yeah.
So Grizz, you're saying it's a bit of a lost art, which I can
No,
understand.
no.
And to the
No, I
people
know
in the
he's right.
comments,
He's right. Evan's
to the
right.
people in the comments who say I need to go seaside, let me clarify. I had these fish and chips in Liverpool, which is a seafaring town. So I'm sure I was getting a fresh catch. Steve, you live in Liverpool. Yeah, let me tell you where I went. It was the place across from the Cavern Club downtown. Might be. Yeah, I think so.
So the lobster pot, there's two of them, and they're very famous. There's one up by Central Station, and there's one down by where you were. And I'm surprised you had bad fish and chips from there, mate, because it's synonymous with fish and chips in Liverpool. It really surprises me.
That's the
There
thing.
you go.
Everybody, I looked around. It didn't look like a tourist trap. There's a bunch of locals there. Maybe wrong day, wrong time. I don't know.
Wrong time, wrong. Yeah, you can have that. You can have that.
Scotland's still got a lot of good chippies, I'll be honest. Like,
there's no good food in Scotland. Let's not even go there.
Listen, no, there is, mate. There definitely is, mate. There definitely is, mate. But we're honest enough to know we're not the most cultured place. Let's be honest. But what I would say is there's a few myths about we don't eat deep fried Mars bar in the chippy. That never really happens.
I'm absolutely gutted you just said that. That's
no, you don't. That's
mate.
madness. Why people think that happens a lot. The one thing that the most famous, the best food that Scotland haven't nowhere else does, it's never spoken about, is square sausage. England don't. It's very weird, to be honest.
Iceland,
have links.
Iceland, they sell it in Iceland, mate.
Yeah, well, you should, because it's much better than a normal links one. So I don't know. England are off the charts with that. That makes no sense.
Before we lose live viewers, we have nearly 600.
I just have
the viewers are loving it. The comment section is popping off right now.
Guys, if you're feeling this sudden chat about fish and chips and Evan's experience, and then ended up talking about haggis, or we could have
square sausage. Haggis is not eating as much as square sausage. This is
all right.
Okay.
We got you. drop a like. Cut. Drop a like, guys. Just a couple of super chats before we go on. Evan, get your GS prop off my timeline.
That's funny. Hey, Trey. First of all, no, I'm not going to do that. GS stands for Golden State, as in the Golden State Warriors. Mo Salah, right before we went live, tweeted out a picture of him, Virgil, and somebody else chilling with Steve Kerr, a legendary player and head coach of the Golden State Warriors. He was at La Aqsa, just doing a little visit. Steve Kerr is a huge Liverpool fan, talks about Liverpool quite a bit in his press conferences when he's not being asked questions about basketball in his own team. I love this crossover event of like Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr, and Liverpool, because I love the Bay Area, and the Golden State Warriors play in San Francisco, where I currently live. And yeah, it's a very progressive area. Liverpool's a very progressive area, similar values around the team. Working class fan bases. So you will find quite a lot of Warrior Liverpool hybrid fans like myself for that reason. So there's a special connection there. It's fun.
Fair enough. Sid the Kid says, I'll take this. Haaland worrying you guys, gonna break the record. Break the record all he wants, as long as we get the title. I couldn't give a who gets the golden boot. I hate that he's a Paul fan. Trez comes back to you and says, hard to hate him now. There you go.
Trey, where in California do you live? You probably live in LA. You're a hater. Laker fan.
Just no doubt will let us know.
Out of here.
Is it 8 or 9 rings he's got now, Evan? Steve Kerr, is it 8 or 9?
Yeah, so as a player and as a coach, he's approaching double digits, which is pretty insane. So for those of you who don't know, Steve Kerr was a role player on Michael Jordan's team, the famous Bulls team of the 90s. So
fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough. I have no idea where we were in the conversation about football. I think it was halftime. Haggis, halftime. Aha! Straight after halftime, me and Conroy were suggesting what possible changes we could have made. And then we started speaking about keeping Fabinho on. Fabinho stays on. The only change, I'll come to. The only change is the Elliott for Cavallo, which makes sense. Elliott's played so much games. I know I fucked it up, Conroy. You're laughing. I know I done it again.
Hey, quiet, just go. Fabio Cavallo. Cavallo.
Stay on mute. Let me just bring up this chat. He says, Grizz, I joined late. Apologies. No need to apologize as long as you're here and you've liked the stream. If you have, but could we talk about Firmino's performance? We just spent 20 minutes on him with heat maps and all sorts. He gets criticised for past 2 games getting off at minute 50s, but yesterday was phenomenal. My friend, you're going to have to watch it on replay. We just spoke about Firmino and gave him his flowers. Steve, as soon as Fabio Carvalho comes on, I couldn't wait. I wanted him to score. I knew he was going to score in front of the Kop. But before that, Trent whips in the most delicious of passes again. Yeah, it's Trent. I beg it was. And we think Diaz strokes the ball home. We find out it's the defender. A bit of chat around the offside. It wasn't important. It doesn't affect us. We wouldn't have dropped points if the decision went our way or anything else. But in that situation, surely Diaz is affecting the defender, and that's why he's inadvertently scored there, or right decision?
It's a really strange one, isn't it? Because there's loads of nuances now to do with the rules and who's doing what. The fact that if that guy doesn't touch the ball, he doesn't know Diaz is offside. All he knows is Diaz will score, so he has to play the ball. First thing, you never ever go at a central defender for attacking the ball, and if it goes in off him, he's doing his job by attacking the ball. That's just bad luck. So Jamie Carragher and Martin Skrtel used to do this all the time for Liverpool, and people used to be really perplexed by it. There's nothing wrong with attacking the ball. So with regards to that, I was waiting for that goal to be chalked off. I have to say, throughout the VAR check, I was thinking they're gonna chalk this off because he's made the guy play at the ball. So it's impossible to say he's not impacted on play. How could you say, and you just alluded to it, how could you say by his position he wasn't influencing the decision of the defender? There's been a couple this weekend I don't get, and someone mentioned Haaland before.
But that one, Steve, that's not a new one. That's the rule. It's not a wrong decision. That's the rule. Watford 5-0
I'm not saying
last
it's
year.
wrong. It's mad.
It's a mad rule, but I think the reason they do it is because how can a ref say if they're interfering or not? And I agree, but Mo Salah, Bobby Firmino's tap-in against Watford last year, I think Craig Cathcart hits it to Ben Foster and then it falls to Firmino, he taps it in. But he doesn't slide for that ball if Mo Salah doesn't make the run and he's like 2 yards offside. But
I remember you talking about that.
This rule needs sorted because it makes no sense, because what happens is if you're a defender, you're like, well, if he doesn't make that run, he's clearly affecting play. But as I say, it's that's been there for a couple of years now. I agree, Steve. It doesn't make sense to me because it's like, surely strikers already have a lot of advantages, and that's one that if I was a defender, that would do my head in. But I agree with other decisions this season completely.
I'm reveling in the fact that VAR gave what it gave. It doesn't make sense because it's in the initial phase of play. There's no recycling the ball or anything like that. That guy's got a nanosecond to make a decision. If he leaves it, then he knows full well that he's going to get a touch on it. So he's in a can't win situation, the defender, isn't he? But I'm all for that because I think attacking football is something that we should promote. But I think
that rule needs.
That's cool.
I think it should be changed. Though. I think they should polish it up a little bit. I agree. I think they should make that a bit clearer. But it's a strange one every time I see it. Sorry, Steve, on you go, mate.
But as I said, it doesn't affect anything. It doesn't affect anything. You know, it's just we're left admiring another beautiful delivery from Trent. That's 6-0 now.
Yeah,
that's 6-0 straight after half time. This is the goal I have no recollection of, the Bobby Firmino second goal. So if anyone has, then feel free. This is your segment.
You go.
Actually, no. This is an Andrew Robertson moment. Where are my manners? Go ahead, Connor.
No, it's fine. It's okay. Yeah. No. So basically, we spoke about earlier about getting assists if you don't mean it. This is why you take every assist you get, because it's a 1-2. I think with Carvalho at the corner. I think it is. I'm sure it is. 1-2 from the Robbo takes a short corner, gets it back, whips it in. Travers kind of makes a meal of it, palms it back out.
Does he go for goal?
No,
do you think that's Robertson's shot, or do you think that's a cross?
It looks like a whip cross, but it's in that type of area, so it's to try to get a flick on. Bobby misses the first chance, should score that, to be honest, but it is a really good save by Travers. So I kind of feel sorry for him because he's actually made a mess, then made a great save, then it's fell back out and Bobby's tapped it in, and he does a no-look finish, which, to be honest, yeah, I feel like at times if they've got like a tick now, do you know, like they can't not do the no look when there's an open goal when it comes to Bobby. But yeah, that's the goal that makes it Does that make it 5 or does that make it 6?
That makes it
Is that
7.
7? Oh, 7. That's 7. 7. So that's the goal there. And obviously, it's good play with Robbo. We mentioned he had a better game. I know it's a divisive issue. Can I just add as well, just to make this point, and I know people are going to love and some people are going to hate this, mostly probably hate, but that's actually Andy Robertson got 50 Premier League assists now, and I think he's only the second defender to ever do that. Trent's will get there, but people say this all the time. Oh, I'm so surprised. Well, it's not news because they've had roughly, bar last season, the same amount of assists on the back of each other, and Robbo played in the Premier League before. So it isn't news. You should know this already. It's been publicised enough time. But that's him 50 Premier League assists now, which is quite an achievement, especially he's not been in the best form as of late. And hopefully, touch wood, he can break. And it's not about individual awards, but it'd be quite good for a Scottish person to actually break the record held by Leighton Baines, which was 53. So yeah, just thought I'd add that. But that was the sixth goal, and again, good play by Robertson, and he gets taken off shortly after that for Shimikas, who I know we'll talk about, had a good impact and a really good impact on the game as well.
Yeah, that was the 7th goal because he takes off, he gets taken. That was also Bobby Firmino's 100th goal, people.
Yeah.
100 goals for Bobby Firmino. We must mention that. So there you go. We spoke about Sadio Mane's 100 goals, I think last season it was. We spoke about it. I remember speaking about it in the show and glorifying for what it's worth. And now the third member of the Trinity, the famous strike force of Liverpool, which will go down regardless of what we think of them now in their current states or whatever, will go down as legendary players for Liverpool Football Club. Conrad, you was going to come in for something?
Yeah, Grizz, just the chat's not confused. That wasn't an assist. I said that didn't count as assist. His assist was for Van Dijk's header. So just to clarify the confusion.
People, don't worry. That was not Conrad trying to claim an extra assist for his Scottish
I'm not Harry Kane. I'm not Harry Kane. I definitely touched it.
But sometimes your love for Robertson is equal of Harry Kane's love for goals.
Who did I say you should start this match, Chris? Come on, I'm not.
You did.
Fair.
You did. But Evan's going to wind you up now because Tsimikas comes on, and for me, one of the assists of the season so far. This is a peach of an assist. This is a peach of a goal. I mean, Trent. It doesn't leave from that right back or whatever you want to call that position. Trent takes up the ball within 5 to 7 seconds ends up in the goal without touching the ground. I love goals like that, Evan. This was beauty personified, and Tsimikas' little layoff is not spoken about enough, in my humble opinion. But I'm going to let you do it.
And with credit to Robertson, it's an assist he's made his own. Although the goal was scored in a different way, it reminds me of that great team goal we scored at the Etihad in 1819. Trent to Robbo at the back post. Dinks it across the goal. Firmino diving header. The ball also did not touch the ground until it crossed.
Beautiful.
The line. Great. Love the vibes. One thing that stood out for me when I was doing some scouting of young Fabio back in January was the guy looked like he could finish. He wasn't just this 10 wandering around doing flicks and through balls and turns and stuff. He was sticking it in the back of the net a lot. From not very straightforward positions, from not very straightforward chances. And this is a fantastic finish. It's a guy who's confident, who was already confident as he was cocking back to shoot, and he's even more confident now that he's banged a goal in front of the cop. So it's a wonderful, wonderful goal. And if there's one thing that stood out to me, one of the many disappointing things that stood out to me from our opening 3 games of the season, is that our long switches and our long diagonals just weren't coming off. There was too much loft on them. They were getting intercepted. We were trying to play them when it wasn't on. Maybe it was just the space afforded to us by Bournemouth on the day, but a lot more of our diagonals and sort of our longer attempts at getting at them were coming off, and this was just another example of it. How Trent found the space in what was already a crowded penalty area to pick out Tsimikas is incredible. And how Tsimikas had the awareness to know that he had a man behind him to lay it off to is even more impressive. Might be my favorite goal of the day. And there are no wrong answers when you have 9 goals to choose from.
No, you're spot on. I mean, favorite goals, of course, is very subjective. But Fabio Carvalho scoring into the Copsty, that's what dreams are made of. Again, another so much full of emotion. Love to see it. just his general play as well. Again, very much like sort of Elliott was given a bit of a free rein at one stage. I thought he was playing right wing. Then he switched over again. Just great to see a massive smile on his, because look, regardless of him like sort of making his debut and coming to Liverpool Football Club, he would have not been enjoying this. Not the fact that he wasn't starting or giving many minutes, but sort of the demeanor around the club. Because even though he's young and he's got a lot of people supporting him and backing him, there is a slight, maybe 0.5% feeling in a young kid like that. Like, hope people don't blame me for this slump in form, even though it's got nothing to do with him. Absolutely nothing to do with him. But do you know what I mean? Like sort of Sadio Mane not being there and Thiago not being there and Naby Keita not being there, and people saying, right, Carvalho needs to be showing us why we bought him, even though it was £5 to £7 million and he's a kid. The mind does play crazy games sometimes, and it was so great to see him flourish and really play like he's been part of that sort of strike force of me. And I want to be surprised if, like Evan says, when the ball came over, I want to be surprised if he gave Tsimikas a call, which again is brilliant communication for a young kid.
Well, one thing he doesn't lack is confidence. You can see that he's got that in abundance. And he's kind of like a left-sided Harvey Elliott in the sense of all the things that he does, constantly looking forward. I'm looking forward to the day when we've got the balls to place Fab in the 6 and those two either side of him, slightly more advanced. That would be really interesting to see. It's madness, and we probably won't do it, but I'd like to see it for the reason that just going to ask teams so many questions in terms of, can you match us? But really good to see. It's kind of like it felt like first half we'll do it down the right hand side, and second half at some point we'll bring Fabio on. See how I navigated the surname problem there, called him Fabio.
Experience.
Bring him on, and he can do exactly the same thing down the left hand side, and it works, and it's a really nice. It is a problem to have, because you can't play both of them at the same time realistically in the Premier League. But you're right, coming into the club, needing to make an impact, season doesn't start well. It's typically on your side, where the star man's gone to Bayern Munich and everyone's looking at the replacements. They're looking at Diaz, they're looking at Nunes. Nunes has taken himself out for 3 games with some rocks for brains behaviour. That's the only way you can say that. And then Carvalho comes in, and he has to have an impact. He has to show his value. He has to show why we bought him. There's a certain amount of pressure with that, and he seems to handle it really, really well. And he's only going to get better on that goal. Both goals for him and Elliott will give both of those two guys a massive lift, and they won't feel like young men trying to forge their way in the Liverpool side. They'll feel like contributors. Today they'll feel like they actually contributed to the goals and to the team performance. So, all in all, Grizz, a really good game for those guys to play, and a really good game for us to get back in the saddle, as it were, and do the things we do well. And the goals were spread around really well. Interesting that Mo didn't get one. I think that's a good thing, because we've been over reliant in the past on that. So, but Carvalho has got many more great days in front of the cop in front of him, because he's a baller and he's got loads and loads of confidence, and I love it.
That'll be interesting what Dean says. Evan, help me out, please, with that first pronunciation.
Bacetic, Elliott, Carvalho, midfield in the League Cup, maybe.
Because we've got Derby at home, right?
Yeah. I think we got
Do
Derby.
Get it done. It'd be boss that, wouldn't it, to watch that? Get it done.
that would be fun. I would even maybe play Carvalho further forward. I think that may be more of a natural position for him, maybe off the left or through the middle. There's some, obviously Bobby Clark got a bit of a run out yesterday. He's supposed to be a big name. We poached him from Newcastle recently. So yeah, I'm glad he got his moment. I was happy to see Bobby Clark, because he's just one of those names you hear about from people who actually watch the U18s. I'm not one of those people, but
I'm an avid watcher of the youngsters, and I want to speak on very quickly. I know because you've mentioned it now, but there's a Scottish lad that we bought from Celtic. First name's gone.
Ben
Doak, and an Irish guy we bought, Harry Kane, Kane Doherty. Guys, everyone speaks about youngsters, and we've hyped up so many youngsters, but these two guys, just remember those two names. Remember the day, the time, Sunday, 28th of August, 10:20 UK time. Ben Doak, Kane Doherty. Wow,
Chris,
these two kids.
I remember
Both of them
it was
starting for Luton
it was a
in the
big
playoff
deal.
final.
It was
Sorry,
a
go
big
on.
it was a big deal when we picked up Ben Doak. I remember that, there's a whole Athletic article about Ben Doak, like just for this one 16-year-old kid that we picked up. And Paul Tompkins, author of Tompkins Times, great stuff. I recommend everybody read his work. Called him the most ready 17-year-old he's seen in his life, I think.
Oh my God,
So,
he's so
and,
good.
and Paul Tompkins, incredible work. And if he's putting in the research and watching Ben Doak so much, then I believe him. So I second this cosign, Grizz. I'm right there.
Thank you. So you believe him, but you didn't believe Grizz Khan. It's okay. I'm used to it.
No,
man. It's okay.
I'm saying Paul Tompkins is backing up your cosign. You are both
You know that.
co-signing him for me.
Yeah. You know that. That's it. That's good.
There's a few.
We're there. We're there now.
There's a few players that are from that Celtic academy that some of them have potential. A lot of stars.
Yeah, well, then there is
work out.
that. I mean, Arsalan says, are they the same as Paul Glatzel and Suso? I get
Be
it. Look,
respectful. Be
yeah,
respectful.
I get it. Look, people can speak about sort of and compare them to the ones that didn't make it, whatever. But Cade Gordon, I'm just so hoping and praying that he shows some sort of recovery from his slight injury. I do believe he's very close to training now again, which would be great, because by the time the League Cup comes round, Cade Gordon, I don't think Ben Doak will get a chance, but Cade Gordon for sure. The two players that we mentioned, Elliott, Carvalho, Vegetic, will definitely get a run out. And our new central midfielder would no doubt have game time as well. He will need to get into the rhythm of things. Before we get into any more chat, there's still over 520 of you in here. Be so kind, please. Be so kind. Sometimes I get accused of being very aggressive in my demand or request for likes. I'm making a humble request this time. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if you could hit a like for me, that would be so amazing. It just helps with the algorithms, helps us get promoted on other YouTube platforms, and just spreads the love. And we're all about spreading love on this show, especially after a 9-0.
I like this good cop, bad cop approach from Grizz, just in terms of getting the numbers up. We gotta switch it up every once in a while.
Adaptable. What did we talk about pre-season? We spoke about variety in our attack.
Flexibility.
Flexibility, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got to practice what we preached all summer.
Plan B. I love it.
Don't start.
Plan B.
After last Monday, last Tuesday, sorry. Yeah. Just over it.
Sports Genius, I have your super chat. I was going to call it at the end, but go on, because you probably might be in a hurry. Chris, why do people kill Arsenal for celebrating? I don't think they should kill Arsenal for celebrating, but I think the ones that over-celebrate should be killed, like proverbially, not really like kill, like sort of, my God, I didn't promote killing and violence there. You guys know what I mean. In response to how you asked, I answered in that sort of manner. But the ones that sort of glorify the first 4 games and say that you are favourites for the title, etc., etc.
It's not a new thing though, Grizz, isn't it? Like, you grew up in London. It's the same with Arsenal. It's always the same, isn't it? It's like they'll jump the gun before there's anything. And I actually think they're doing well. I actually think it's quite annoying with Arsenal, because you actually want to credit them, and then their fans just cover your.
But enough of the Arsenal chat.
Chat.
We've got so much to talk about, Conroy. You always do this. Start digressing. Exactly. Right.
We just like talking, everyone. Sorry.
I like to hear your last opinion on the last goal, which is actually the Robertson assist. Actually, Luis Diaz shows his amazing prowess in the air again. Beautiful flicked header. I love these kind of goals just as much as, maybe not just as much as the Carvalhos and the Trent strikes, but these are lovely to see, and another celebration into the Kop. This guy Diaz, this is the kind of game he needed, where just goals. People speak about his goals. People don't speak about his drag backs and when he beat that guy, because I don't remember him beating anyone. I don't remember him doing any dazzling piece of skill. I remember his 2 goals, and that's where I want to remember him for.
Absolutely.
Simicast assist. I beg your pardon. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. There's 9 goals, Grizz. It's easy to get mixed up. There's a lot of action. I would say, again, back to Evan's point, I think we might be the most infuriating team for set pieces, because we always get lots at the end of the season, but I always find we'll have spells where are absolutely useless from set pieces. And I think we'd all agree with that. We definitely have. We're an enigma when it comes to our stats with set pieces. But I've got to be honest, I agree. I think this is a goal I love because it gets the confidence up. So when we're in maybe tougher ties, when we need a bailout, we're getting the set pieces up to standard. And again, Shimikas showing his ability to cross, that cultured left foot he's got, whips it in. And it's actually, it's a really good cross, but it's a brilliant header to flash it. I think it is kind of centrally, but because he flashes it so quickly towards Travers, it's by him before he sees it. And it's great. Diaz with 2 headers. We mentioned that at the start. He's shown us another string to his bow. That's the right one. And I think that's great for us going forward, but it's great for him as well. And as you said, Grizz, we do live in a kind of area now in football where it's like he could be the best player on the pitch, but if he doesn't get a goal or assist, it's a stick used to bat him with, which I disagree with at times, but this gets him another 2 goals. So that kind of thing towards him, that the drag backs, the YouTube stuff, but he's not actually affecting the game, they won't come out with that. So I agree, and I think it was a excellent goal by the team to round off 9-0, which is a leveling the record that Man United had against Ipswich, Leicester against Southampton, and Man United against Southampton last season, I believe.
Wow, true. As Philip says, Chris, it doesn't matter how you request for us to hit the like button. Some of the time I forget to hit the like button until prompted. Thank you very much. But some get angry, pissed off. But anyway, 9-0. Was any of you guys like me wanting double figures just for the sake of it? Just was you, Steve?
Yeah, because then it's our record by ourselves, isn't it? And it's never been done before.
Yeah.
And I would have felt really bad for them because that would have been horrendous to lose 10-0 in a top flight English Premier League game. But what the hell? I was with everyone in the ground shouting, "We want 10." Of course you want 10. This is a great conversation at 9, but 10 is double figures. 10 is
record breaking.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't like sharing records with Man United. I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
So that doesn't make me feel sort of as good as it possibly could. And I felt some of the substitutions killed the possibility of that to some degree.
Yeah, exactly. I get what you mean. But look, we needed something like that. We all spoke about not only a win, which was an absolute must. I don't care what level of support you show and have for the club. If you suggested that anything but a win was acceptable, then I would have called you a top red and sworn at you on Twitter. I would have just typed out some obscene words and shouted at you and called you all sorts. But luckily, we didn't need that, because not only did we get the win that we said is a must win, we absolutely showed levels of play and desire and endeavor and vibrancy that just made us feel good again. And that's, I think, more than anything else, I think we needed that as well. I mean, obviously, I don't want to be a hypocrite and say we didn't need the 3 points, of course, but we needed a convincing win. And 9-0 is as convincing as you can get. Guys, I want to touch upon sort of the aftermath and people speaking about sort of the owner being there. Evan, Mr. John Henry was at the crowd. People obviously start wondering, okay, does this mean he's come to sign off the check just to say he doesn't sign the checks? It doesn't work like that. But it's still good to see the custodian of the club, the owner there. It's good to see him there at the site of a 9-0 victory. We just need some togetherness. The slump, or whatever you want to call it, the first 3 games, we need togetherness and sort of coming together of not only fans, but the owners and the coach. And all those heads that have clashed and come together have suggested now, and it looks like, Evan, we are definitely buying a central midfielder. People can call it and dress it up how they want. I think it's called assessing the situation, reading the room, looking at your injuries, needs, must, and having the flexibility to do something about it, right?
I'll never get mad at anybody for changing their mind when presented with new evidence. The world would be a much better place if we were all big enough to do that. So Klopp having this reversal on his stance, perhaps, along with other people in his circle, it's great. Also, the optics of John Henry being there for a big win when we needed are great. John Henry doesn't really do much in the Liverpool day-to-day. That's more of a Mike Gordon sign off on the check type situation, but we already knew that. Yeah, changing your mind is good. It's annoying that it's coming within the last few days of the transfer window. It's annoying that we have watched other targets that I'm pretty sure we're all fans of go to other teams when players like Tchouaméni and Bellingham didn't pan out for this window. I am a bit annoyed that we just watched Mateus Nunes go to Wolves. I thought he was my ideal, if not Bellingham, if not Tchouaméni target for this summer, and then we sort of have this reversal in our stance a week later. So there's all these things that are mildly annoying, but now I have to have faith in our recruitment mechanism to identify somebody who is still available for the right price and is the right type of personality and profile for this team. And our recruitment mechanism is very good at doing these things. So I just hope we can find somebody that that ticks all the boxes that, you know, both sides of the recruitment, both coaching and, you know, stat gurus are fans of. And yeah, it is looking likely multiple green sources, as the Anfield Talk would say, are confirming this. So exciting times, but clock is ticking. I hope we don't get strong armed into some of the absurd fees that we've seen just in the last 24 or 48 hours around the continent.
I agree with pretty much everything you've said there. And yeah, I share the frustration part. We'll come to Steve and Conroy, who may have different. I think Steve may have a different opinion on it. I don't know, but we'll get to their opinion. I just want to throw my bit in there. So I agree. I'm with you, Evan. I share the frustration because I think there have been a couple of players that we would have. But then I also understand the stance of Jurgen Klopp more than any other fan, in terms of he's seen players fall literally in Navigator's case and be injured. He spoke about having 8 possible 9 options when he was first asked the question, or when he first made a decision, possibly, probably, in the sense that I don't want any more central midfielders. I'm okay until January at least, because I know what I want with these guys and they know what I want, and we're ready to go for 3-4 months until Christmas, and then we will reassess in January. So I can understand that, even if I didn't agree with it. There's the key. I can understand it even though I may not have agreed with it. I can also now agree with it and understand it, and there's no hard feeling. It just doesn't work like that. People claiming that Jurgen Klopp has admitted his mistake. Jurgen Klopp, he's the greatest manager we've had in our lifetimes, man. Like, but the main thing is he's human. We forget that. Humans can fucking make mistakes, man, or errors of judgment, or call it whatever you want. But a sign of a great, all of that, is someone like Kevin says, who can adjust and react accordingly. And the same goes for the ownership, that people that say that, the ownership that releases the funds and give him the purse string, so to speak, to go ahead and get what he wants or do what he wants. So I don't think it's massive and a huge of a deal as people have made out, because today Virgil van Dijk was asked a question about sort of players and whatnot, midfielders, and he suggested, yes, we do need midfielders as well, and people are using that as a whiplash for the owners and Jurgen Klopp and fans who didn't want players. Which, again, find me a fan that sort of has any form of platform. Find me one that didn't want a central midfielder, and then go and discuss it with him. Don't discuss it with people that wanted central midfielders. But anyway, Steve, it looks like. Is there anything that you wanted to add on to that, or minus anything from that?
That a good friend of mine was a concierge at the hotel that John Henry uses in Liverpool. He would have been booked in months ago. There's no connection with the recent form and his arrival at Anfield today. That's just purely coincidental. And in the mad Twitterverse that we exist in, that would get twisted all out of shape and used against us, as you well know. Virgil van Dijk's comments, I think, today are centered more around availability rather than go out and sign players. Once again, that's been twisted out of shape and used against us. And finally, Jurgen Klopp may have come out and said what he was already thinking, as opposed to changing his mind. You know,
Okay.
tongue-in-cheek, I was wrong, you were right type of thing, because how many times has he been asked that question? He must be absolutely bored to tears with it. So it's a fun way to put that one to bed, and he's quite a jovial guy like that. But we do need someone in there. We do. We've all said this, and everybody in the chat would have said it. So it's not a newsflash moment. It's not breaking news. It's something that we've all recognised. And with regards Matheus Nunes, could be that he's got a sensible release clause in his Wolves contract, and maybe we're letting them see if he can adapt to the Premier League. Who knows? Who knows? And that might be something that we do in the future, because Wolves seems to be a bit of a stepping stone for these Portuguese lads. They come in, they do really well, and like Diogo Jota, and they move on. I agree, would have been a good fit for the midfield based on what I'd seen, but the names being bandied around today, particularly, there was, prior to the Wolves game, there was a rumor that Neves wasn't going to be in the squad. He was. He had a masterclass. Personally, for me, he's not the answer, but because he's very, very one-paced. And we're looking for athleticism in our midfield, not another Thiago, if you like, but just on the other side. So that's my take on that one. But I don't think the fans should be using John. I mean, did you see that clip of the fan leaning over the tunnel shouting at John Henry, "We need a midfielder"? Okay, he's going to go in there, go to Jurgen Klopp and say, "Just seen some bloke in a woolly hat tell me we need a midfielder. Can you get it sorted, please?" Those things don't happen. That's absolutely insane. It's embarrassing to do that. But yeah, we 100% need someone.
I saw a Twitter poll, lads. Where are we?
Was it not your Twitter poll, Chris?
1 second. 1 second. Calma. I saw a Twitter poll today with someone. It was me. Someone on a Twitter poll saying choose one. And obviously, sort of, this is Twitter, full of experts and scouts.
14,000 votes, though. Wow.
It's 18 hours to go, yeah. So this is just the first 5 hours of voting. But it just shows you the clamor and the need and the desire and the passion for transfers and people's opinions on them.
100%.
So I've just put some names out that I've heard and also I've read on Twitter. And obviously I forgot to add Sucic, who I've 100% heard that we tried to bring forward the deal, the lad from Salzburg. So out of the names that I've heard and I've put on there, and any that you may have heard and I've missed out, Conroy, what do you think about the voting? And give us your one that you would pick. See,
the thing is, right, I'm actually a bit surprised, to be honest, because I actually do like Neves as a player. You know, I'm not saying he's a level Alonso, but he reminds me of that style. But I think Steve's kind of hit the nail on the head with that one. Firstly, that probably doesn't suit Klopp's system. Secondly, if you have a allowance who can even adapt to that, you've already got a Thiago, and we're not really forward planning to replace him right now. We're looking for someone to give us those legs, as Evan always talks about, especially from our eights, the way the system works. So as a player, excellent. I think I can understand why you'd want him in a team, but if you're going specifically for us, I wouldn't go for Neves personally, because I just don't think that's the fit we're looking for. For me, I'm actually in between the two middle ones. I think Tielemans, again, I actually like him as a player, but I think it falls under the Neves category. Doesn't suit who we need. We need someone with athleticism who ideally could have that a bit of you know, they've all got technical ability, but that final pass as well, that would be an ideal situation. But from those options, for me, I'd say Caicedo or Laimer, for me, would be the best fit for the issues we've had recently. I think one of them would be the best fit for our team if it was one of them. We can mention Frenkie de Jong, but that's a bit, we've not got time for that. But I'd say one of those.
Go for it. No, go for it. If you go for it, mention it if you want. Go for it.
The thing is with Frenkie de Jong, this is maybe me being a walking contradiction here, but I think he's a special player. I've always said that. I think he is. I think he's just the way he can run a game, and I think he's different because to me he's a next level. I think someone described it as you've got your top midfielders to get, and he's just below that. And I would look at that way, Frenkie de Jong. But I don't think that's possible. That's the only one I'd change my stance on for not being as maybe athletic as Caicedo or Laimer. I think Frenkie de Jong is an exception. But on realism, I think Laimer or Caicedo would be the one I would go for.
We're going to come back to that poll with Evan's opinion, even though I know probably Evan's answer. But I just wanted to read out this super chat. Ash says, "De Jong wages is an issue." Sorry, I don't know why that's covered your faces, guys. I don't mean to. Is there a
It's all right,
technique of
Kaz.
not doing
No,
that?
it's fine. Carry
I'm
on.
so sorry, guys.
I'll just look over like this. I'll just peek over.
Sorry,
so I can
guys. I
still
don't know
see.
how the hell did that happen.
You put
But
your hands up,
anyway,
where's Wally?
It's because the super chat's that it's got that many lines of super chat. That's why.
all right, okay. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you because inadvertently I see less of them, which is bonus. De Jong wages an issue. X. Neves fee way too high. X. Casado lacking experience. X. Lima injury record is poor. X. Jude next year is X. I'm thinking it's Tielemans. 25 to 35 million Premiership experience. Good injury record. Guys, bear in mind what that super chat said, and then as we go back to the vote, so
The poll that
the poll-
someone just did. That's that.
Yeah, someone
you
just
found,
did that poll.
You found this random poll on Twitter.
We've been
just
searching
picked-
all day, found it.
I just quickly googled it while I was live, and lo and
That's
behold,
great.
this is
It was the first thing that came up. Liverpool fans vote on midfielder poll.
first thing that came up. Evan, take into consideration the points that the brother made. Ash, appreciate the love and support. Thank you.
Mhm.
And taking all that into consideration, what is your view and opinion of the situation?
Well, this is gonna sound weird. I think a lot of this depends upon how good Harvey Elliott is. Because if Harvey Elliott is as good as we think he's gonna get, and he's gonna improve at the rate we think he's gonna improve, then our starting midfield becomes Fabinho, Thiago, Elliott. Then again, if Thiago continues to get injured at the rate he gets injured, then we need a left-sided central midfielder. So by that logic, we need someone right-footed if we want to do the inverted thing. So listen, it's difficult. I'll structure it this way. If we are buying a right-sided central midfielder to play alongside the guaranteed two of Thiago and Fabinho, assuming they're fit, then we need legs. So I would opt for somebody like Conrad Leimer or Caicedo, who I think have a physical profile that Neves and Tielemans don't have. So I would want greater athleticism, pace, and power. Simple. However, if let's go back to my other scenario. If we're thinking that Thiago is going to continue to be as unavailable as he has been for us, then out of all of these names, and I'm trying to get someone to cover for Fabinho and Thiago at the same time, maybe do a job anywhere across the midfield three, as opposed to just being this hyper athletic right-sided central midfielder in Caicedo or Leimer. The best name on this list by a country mile is Ruben Neves. I like Yuri Tielemans. I think he has a lot of similar characteristics to Neves. They got that range of passing. They're both a threat from distance. They're very ambidextrous players, high IQ. I just think Ruben Neves is a bit better. That's just for me. I'm gonna echo what Conroy said and say that if Frankie de Jong is available, if he does sort out his financial situation in the next 72 hours with Barcelona, and if he was on this list, then it's Frankie de Jong dwarfing all of these names by a mile. If we got Frankie de Jong before the window closed, that would be the biggest statement signing in my lifetime for Liverpool. Frankie de Jong is a generational talent. It's upsetting to me, just as a fan of the game, that he found himself in his early 20s at Barcelona during their current financial nightmare. So that is my logic. If it's a Thiago and Fabinho partner in the midfield, I want someone hyper athletic. If we're getting someone to make up for Thiago's absence and fill in a variety of roles, then it's probably Ruben Neves. So you can see it's a very complex question. I think during this summer, when we've all started describing subjectively what type of midfielder we think Liverpool needs, everyone gets in this like one track mind of, no, we need pace and power, no, we need creativity. As I'm sure we all know, our midfield situation is very fluid. People are constantly getting injured, people are out of form, people are aging. So I see I'm beginning to come around to the jack of all trades type midfield signing, Whereas before, as you guys know, I was a stern advocate of no, pace and power, athleticism only. I would still lean that way, which is why I would go Caicedo, Limer if you forced me to choose right now. But I also see the wisdom in someone like Neves. I think generally, just based on this on my last point, based on both scenarios that I've created for my argument, the player that I'm least interested in for both of those scenarios is Yuri Tielemans. Though I do think he would probably be the easiest to do, seeing as he wants to leave, has been wanting to leave for some time, and he has such short time left on his contract.
See how complex this question is?
It's an insanely complex question. I hope I didn't talk for too long. Apologies.
No. I'm just the more you was talking, the more I was thinking like the thinking patterns of analysts and scouts and coaches, and trying to decide how and which angle to take.
It would be so much simpler, Grizz, not to interrupt again, but it would be so much simpler if Thiago and Fabinho were available all the time together. Then it becomes very simple for me. I want Genie Wijnaldum 2.0. That's literally what I want. However, Thiago is not always available. Fabinho has arguably played way too much in the last 12 months. All of the backup options behind those guys are getting injured as well. So it becomes this insanely complex headache.
Absolutely. I mean? Before we get to Steve's opinion and probably wrap it up after that, I've got a super chat from First Fire Z Fist Z. Wow, what a name. He says, very true, De Jong is so good. Why don't we for him? I believe we've spoken to the reps of Frankie De Jong last week. And I think he is one we looked at. I don't think we're pursuing it. Hope I'm very badly wrong. And we do pursue it, but it was deemed too complex to pursue. But we did speak with his reps and see what the situation is. Steve, those names and any other names that you want to put forward, and who you're going for, and what's the thinking behind it?
Well, first of all, De Jong doesn't want to leave Barcelona, so that's the bottom line. Unless they find a way to sort his money out and then make it totally untenable for him, he's no wish to leave. The Dutch, the Cruyff connection, the playing for Xavi and all that stuff is very appealing to him, and literally we'll have to throw him out the door, and then he's got to take a view on his money, because his money's insane, and not many other clubs in Welsh football are going to give him that kind of money. That's an issue. On the names you put there, Neves would be my least favourite, because I find him to be very, very one-paced. When you play against Wolves, if you have any intensity and any energy in midfield, him and I know Moutinho's not much of a, an athletic partner to play alongside him, because he's coming to the end of his career. But we're not blessed with athletic midfielders either. So I kind of see being a slightly better version of the Wolves midfield, where whilst he's got all the quality in the world and he is a footballer, you can take him out of the game with intensity, pace, and power. And against the early games in the season, that was a glaring miss for us, that intensity and that power. Ceiling-wise for ability, I think Tielemans probably gets a tick in the box, because we know what he's capable of. But he's been wanting to leave Leicester for 6 months, and it's affected his form. His house is up for sale. He's thinking about moving away. I think he's gone about that the wrong way, and for me, that soured my sort of thoughts on Tielemans a little bit. Laymer's had the ankle injury problem, which is a concern, and it's something that he can't seem to solve once and for all. So I would agree with Conroy that Caicedo is probably the choice, because that's going to give you the athleticism. And if we do get a Bellingham next summer, there's no point in having another similar type of player, because I can't see that working. So we need someone that potentially is a replacement for the deep lying midfielders, and that again would sort of point towards the middle two. So Caicedo again comes into that conversation. So by proxy of all of the different situations, for me, that's probably the sensible choice, and probably where I would be happy going right now.
Fair enough. People coming back with their options about Lima has missed 8 games in 2 years. I do believe it was one operation that caused him to miss a fair chunk of the time. From what I've read, his injury situation overall is very, very good. He's very durable. But yeah,
those things, Chris, real quick, where people were trying to say Konate was injury prone, but if you actually pull back the first layer and look at what the actual injury situation was, it becomes far less daunting. You know what I mean? It's not Ousmane Dembele. It's not, Daniel Sturridge.
Naby Keita.
Yeah, definitely not that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Someone said Fabian Ruiz as well, but it looks like he's nailed on for PSG. It looks, but he is a good player as well.
Yeah. Fire Z I can say it much quicker the second time round. Asks, none of these under 23s. We need proven mids. Barella would be the dream, but you're looking at 70-80 million to prize him away from Inter Milan, who are not only going for the title but for the Champions League as well. With 4 days to go, that's some raid.
And I would, not to play devil's advocate on that, because I get that point, I do get that. That's a good comment. But Caicedo is Premier League proven as well. Like, people are saying lack of experience, I get that. But if you sign someone for a foreign league as well, you don't know that they're going to adapt quickly as well. So either way, I think you're taking a chance.
No, I agree with you. Absolutely. Caicedo, I think the way Potter's dealt with Caicedo has been perfect. Hey, kid, watch Basuma this season or whoever, sort of while you are acclimatized to the Premier League and everything. And next season, you're going to be playing in that role. And so far, watching Brighton's performances and Caicedo suggests that he's very much high up on our list. But people, guys, we must call it a day. I'm buzzing after that win. Equally as buzzing after speaking to you guys on a Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, as the case for Evan. Thank you all much. Thank you all very much. Thank you all the people in the chat that have kept us entertained with some humorous takes. And I was going to say some horrendous, but there was only one horrendous take of the night. Hang your head in shame, Paul Smith. I still remember your name. I'm sorry, I do call out people when they do, unless you're a troll and you've done that on purpose just to ignite the chat. But I saw the chat soon deal with you, so to speak. 1975 Jamrock says, Jurgen Klopp likely wants a younger version of Jordan Henderson, James Milner. If he does, I've been saying it all week. Konrad Laimer is a hybrid of a young James Milner and Jordan Henderson when they were the peak of their powers. So before people start saying, oh my God, Grizz just said on his channel, we're buying James Milner and Jordan Henderson hybrid. Fuck me. I didn't say that. Don't look at them now. Look at them in their prime. He's a hybrid. He's just what, and look how much love and admiration Jurgen Klopp has for Jordan Henderson and James Milner at the ages of 36 and 32, respectively. Imagine if he had them in their primes. Well, he has a chance. But Konrad Laimer is not convinced yet, from what I understand. His club would be more than happy to deal with us. The price range suits us. He's in his final year of the contract. His heart is set on Bayern for next year on a free as well. But if Jurgen Klopp, like I suggested earlier in the week, if you get him on a Zoom call, things can happen, things can change. I'm not going to say your name. So we'll make a statement. City are killing me, man. Don't worry. Don't die. Don't die. Stay alive. Keep alive. Stay happy. Stay strong. We're in this together, my brother. We're in this together.
Just before we go, I just checked Konrad Laimer's injury record. He's missed a whole year of injuries, predominantly through a broken ankle. So I don't know where the 8 games comes from. He's missed a whole year worth of football in the last 6 years.
I knew that as well. And just to counteract that, I'm not super worried about injuries. No. Contact injuries are generally like, what are you going to do? I mean, even someone like Gini Wijnaldum is susceptible to a contact injury.
100%
available player I've ever seen. So there you go.
But yeah, is there anything else, guys, that I've forgotten or missed out on? But
no, I think Top Show guys covered a lot. Great win.
I'm ready to talk about fish and chips again. So
you know what? It's not like there's no fish and chips places in USA.
No, there is. I didn't want to say this at the time, but I've had much better fish and chips here in San Francisco. Obviously, it's a fishing town. It's right here on the coast.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm in a good place for it, California in general. But I was expecting to have my mind blown in Liverpool.
Yeah, you should have, mate. You should have. Yeah.
That is a bit of a shit one. But
I'll be sure to pass on the feedback.
There we go. DM me. Let's do it.
Guys, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's been a wonderful show. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, show us your love by smashing the like button on your way out. We will be back. Wow, so much to do this week. I have no idea how we're going to do this. What do we have tomorrow? Tomorrow possibly is the only day we haven't got anything. My God. We play Wednesday, so we will have a preview show. I'm also launching Premier League Unpacked at some point this week. We have the Euro show on Wednesday as well as the game. My God, I don't know how we're going to do this. Football's back. We're loving it. We feel better. We're in a better place. So we will maybe look to speak more. This has been Redfellas on your Sunday night. Take care. Love to you all.